To a cautionary tale for anyone thinking of managing their own superannuation. Dozens of retirees have been left in limbo after taking the advice of financial planning company Prosperity Advisors, now in voluntary administration. The investors were convinced to place their superannuation nest eggs in high-risk, so-called mezzanine finance schemes, which have either stalled or simply swallowed their capital. Their claims against Prosperity Advisors could amount to more than $77 million. Meanwhile, the company has been sold back to the original directors under an almost identical name and is still open for business. Sarah Dingle reports.
With its calm marina surrounding National Park and 27-hole golf course, Nelson Bay on the mid-north coast of New South Wales is prime retirement real estate.
Thank you. Thank you.
But at least one retiree finds himself unable to enjoy its charms.
Well, we had to watch our expenditure very, very closely.
In 2005, then BHP employee Matty Morel was trying to ensure a comfortable retirement. His financial planners, Prosperity Advisors, recommended investing in a large residential development at Nelson Bay. So these are the Aqua apartments?
So these are the Aqua apartments that I've lost my $25,000 in.
The resort-style Aqua apartments project, suggested by his planner, promised a pre-tax return of more than 34%.
It was virtually like dangling diamonds or gold bullion in front of me. Unfortunately, I realise now that I was caught at a vulnerable moment. I really didn't have the time to sort of consider everything properly, and she was very, very persuasive and very, very determined to get my signature on the dotted line.
The units couldn't find a buyer, and by mid-2008, the developer PCG Capital had gone into liquidation. It was one of three major investments recommended to Matty Morel by Prosperity Advisors, which failed. So what was the total amount of money you lost?
The final sum came up to about $100,625.
That's the ones listed down there. They're the investments that we lost our money on. There were the crosses.
And in total, they came to?
$200,000.
Down the road, Tony and Carol Johnson have a similar story.
Well, we've lost money on probably 6 investments.
Yeah, 6 investments out of 6 almost. Yeah, 6
so the strike rate is bad.
Like Mr Morel, Prosperity planners advise the Johnsons to invest their super in high-risk mezzanine finance schemes, so-called because investors are second in line if projects fail and it comes to recovering any money. Prosperity planners pocketed a lump sum commission for each mezzanine scheme sold.
We asked for moderate risk products.
They
recommended that a moderate portfolio was
all we required to get us through our retirement, really.
So at what point did you find out that you were involved in high-risk mezzanine finance?
Well, the word was there, but there was no explanation about it. We didn't realise. We were led to believe that there was no great risk to our capital.
As well as the Aqua apartments, all 3 retirees invested in a Perth development called Riverside and a Sydney project called the Gilead Trust, which both stalled when the developer collapsed in 2006. Prosperity Advisors sold these investments to at least 60 other creditors, including the New South Wales State Treasurer Eric Roosendahl, who reportedly lost tens of thousands of dollars. You actually went to Riverside Pier in Perth to have a look at the development. What did you find?
We found there was a crane that had been there for about 5 years. Some piers had been put in, and the rest of it was just nothing there.
They took holiday snaps, but the situation was no joke. In late 2003, when their concerns with Prosperity Advisors began, Carol Johnson had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Because we were concerned with other things at around about this time of our lives, we trusted them to do the right thing by us, and obviously they weren't. They were selling a product rather than having our interests really as their major concern.
Both the Johnsons and Matty Morel went to the Financial Ombudsman Service, which upheld their claims, finding that Prosperity Advisors owed the three more than $300,000 for mis-selling investments.
Allan.
Hi Sarah, how are you going?
Well, before they could take any legal action, on the 6th of October last year, Prosperity Advisors in Newcastle placed itself in voluntary administration. Allan McKeown was its chief executive.
It's been a difficult investment climate generally, the background of the global financial crisis, and so there's been, I guess, failure in part of the portfolio.
Failure in part of the portfolio but not of the company or its directors?
In terms of investment portfolios, as I say, in a number of occasions, they haven't met expectations.
By then, potential claims by unsatisfied Prosperity clients had reached $77 million. At creditors' meetings, representatives expressed their outrage to the administrators Smith Hancock. Some creditor representatives, like lawyer Julien Castaldi, felt that Smith Hancock could have done much more.
I thought there could have been more forensic investigation undertaken, and I guess in principle my main problem with it was that the administrators seemed to not adopt a sufficiently sceptical approach to what he was being told.
3 weeks after administration began, the company was sold, back to the same directors, including Allan McKeown.
Was there on the market for anyone to acquire. There was a detailed process that the administrator went through.
It has been done within the boundaries of the law. However, to ordinary people, particularly those that have lost money through the investment, seeing the same group of people operating a company with much the same name, doing much the same business, I can understand why that would cause them great heartache and concern.
To sweeten the deal for creditors, the directors of Prosperity Advisors agreed to pay for a Supreme Court case against Prosperity's insurers Dexter. ASIC, the Financial Ombudsman and Allan McKeown all told creditors this litigation represented their best chance of recovering any money.
They mightn't have a good case anyway. They seem to think they have, Prosperity seem to think they have.
There is a slight possibility of getting something back.
It's just one of 3 disputes Prosperity has on its books. Until they settle all 3, Matty Morel and the Johnsons can't take any action to recover their money, despite the Financial Ombudsman's findings in their favour.
You've bought the company back and you've dodged the immediate threat of legal action. Do you understand why some people would say something about that doesn't seem right?
I'm not sure what you mean by dodging any sort of immediate legal action. There's a process that's continuing. All we needed was the breathing time to enable us to progress our legal action against the insurer.
ASIC and the administrators declined to be interviewed for this story. Prosperity Advisors Newcastle is still in operation. Allan McKeown told the ABC he believes the litigation against Dexter alone will likely stretch to another 12 months. Meanwhile, unsecured creditors are left wondering if there's any point in taking their concerns to the regulator.
My arguments and my claims are fully justified, but if nothing comes of it, it's only a moral victory. Unfortunately, moral victories don't put bread on the table.
Well, Carol could end up in a home, really, and we just sort of hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, well, that's extra money that we could need, to get proper care.
The loss of $200,000 plus certainly didn't help our finances at all.
That report from Sarah Dingle.